And you may be saying to yourself, well, what are we here for this week? Well, it is the weekly Viking vlog, episode 11.
Wow.
Oh yes.
I'm not going to say it, I'll leave you to say that one.
I bet you never thought we'll get this far in a vlog series.
Well,
Can't say it now without a straight face.
Well, you're right there.
Episode 11, I think that's a big achievement.
Yeah.
And I don't think we celebrated the episode 10 enough, really.
No.
Perhaps it didn't dawn on us that we've done 10 episodes.
Wait till 20, then we can...
Wait till 100.
So what's on the list today then?
Well, we've done the house intros, as you know, you like them. You know who we are.
Yeah.
So, we do the host update where we talk about... we try to keep a routine to these vlogs. So the host update where we talk about what we've been doing, not only just personally, because well, I guess people, when they watch a channel, they like to watch the individual as well as the content. So we talk about what we've been up to personally in the last week, and we talk about what you've been doing in relation to the channel in the last week. So, what have you been up to in the last week, Eggle?
In the last week, well, I got an offer to write a murder mystery.
Oh, brilliant. Who did it?
I don't know, I haven't even started thinking about it yet. Been reading up about the Sagas, which we hope to do.
Oh yes, we are working on that.
And had a bit of paperwork to do with the DHSS, bless them. Hopefully that's all
Would
sorted.
you explain who that is to the Americans and anybody else?
It's when you're on the dole, unemployed, and that's they're notorious for their bureaucracy, and doesn't always go well. It's not the computer's fault, it's the person who puts the stuff in the computer.
Computer says no.
Yeah, and then they cough in your face. No, the staff themselves are actually quite nice. They do as well as they can.
Well, I'm sure they do.
But what else have I been up to? Well, it's been really hot, so I've been perspiring quite a lot.
It has been very warm.
As you can see now, I've got a lot of coming on. Hello, what are we doing down here?
Putting my leg bindings on while I carry on talking.
Oh right, I'm at what's called a filler here. So, yeah, it's not been absolutely hectic yet, but it has all the hallmarks of it. As I say, I'm looking forward to doing more stuff on here, a lot more, and we love to hear your comments when they come in. We'll try and answer every single one. We certainly look at everyone, and it's always interesting to see what other people think, don't you?
Yeah, I got some comments to go back over the last 2 weeks to go and look at, make sure I've liked them all, and I also give them a love, a heart. But I notice sometimes when you leave a comment, you go back and your comment's not there. So you always have to check your comments. And because we get a lot of comments, it can take a while to reply to them all.
Well, sheer number.
And the worst type of comments you get are the ones, well, not bad comments, they're just comments where you don't know what to put down as the answer or the comments. So sometimes also some comments can take quite a bit of thinking about. And we are going to be doing a comments video today when we've got time, and that'll be published in the next week, I'd hope.
Yeah. Maybe
on Thursday this week after this vlog out. And we're recording the vlog on the day of the vlog comes out, so it may be a little bit later today if it doesn't publish, if it doesn't render the first time and I have to render it again, so it might be a bit later in the evening. I'll try not to publish it in the early hours. I'll wait till tomorrow, I think 9 o'clock in the morning, but hopefully it'll be out today.
So all this tech talk is way above my head, but
and so you've been looking at the Sagas, which is good.
I was looking at the building of the walls of Asgard.
Yes.
The creation and the wars of the gods.
Because we have that tale already told on the channel.
Yeah, but I thought
and it's a good idea to tell it again.
Yeah, I thought we'll have a look at it and see how my version comes across. Don't think you've done the creation one, have you?
No, Turkey never did the creation one. So yeah, go for that one as well.
Yeah, the great thing is trying to learn the 11 rivers.
Well, if you could read a notice board like that, then we could write the 11 rivers on that notice board for you if you can read it.
You've heard it here first, folks. It's a deal, because that's one of the problems you have I don't know if you have it as well, is learning names.
Well, it depends. Now recently I've kind of changed where previously, so let's talk about what I've been doing. We can incorporate this.
Sure.
So I've been recording a few mainly folk tales. That's mostly what I record on my own. I did record the other day that video about the Staffordshire Hornet, which we'll talk about in a bit if you like. But we are going to do a follow-up video, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, so sometimes the names can be quite tricky, but sometimes it's also the things that happen. So a very good example of this is the Boots story I told, published yesterday, and that is Boots who made the princess say, "Now that's a story." And it really is an amazing, really good, gripping story. It was about a 15-minute video. I don't think you've seen it, because the problem is when we make content, you don't always get time to watch your content. So that took me months and months to learn. But straight afterwards, I wanted to record the next Boots story, and I've not learnt that one so far, and I learnt that in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So the difference between a few months to learn a very tricky bit of the story, which the first bit is where the princess compares the size of farms by having two men go to the board and blowing a horn like this. And they can't hear each other. And Boots replies, "Whoa, that's nothing. When a car starts to go into calf, gets pregnant, and then during the duration starts walking across our land, by the time she's ready to give calf, she's just about crossed the border, and that's quite a big size of land." And then the next thing they compared in the story would have been ox, and the size of ox, and the princess had an ox when two men climbed up and sat on the horn, each horn, and they got two 20-foot spears. They couldn't touch each other. But of course, Boots, he had an ox which was so big that when two men sat on the horns and blew a horn again, they could not hear each other. So again, Boots beat the princess. And eventually they talk about cheeses, and it's interesting in this folk tale that when Boots was making the cheese, they had a mare, although I called it a donkey. A donkey isn't a mare, a donkey's a horse. A mare is a horse, not, it's irrelevant.
We get what you mean.
This mare was used, the two of them, and one of them fell in the cheese in the process. And 7 years later, they found it alive in a chamber in the cheese. The cheese was that big. So yet again, he beat the princess and the cheese, and they got the mare. It's a very interesting bit of the story, this, and decided he couldn't take it to market and get rid of this mare the next day. But on the way, the back broke. So Boots thought, I'll get a little sapling of a spruce, and I found it just down here. And he put it in the back of the spine, and the tree grew and mended the spine, and eventually there was a mighty tree. And he climbed up the tree, so it reminded me of Jack and the Beanstalk.
I was going to say, yeah.
Then in the story, which was being more modernised because they claimed that he went to heaven, but in fact I incorporated the fact that his old stories his grandfather told him about the 9 worlds, so he didn't know whether he was in the 9 worlds or heaven. So, and then he managed to get his way down with a magical rope from this fair maiden and fell into a rabbit hole, came out, and there was his mother and the princess father hobbling shoes, and she said, "Oh, my father would never do that." And of course I forgot to mention that in the folk tale, that little line, and she said, "Now that's a story."
Yeah.
But it just shows you that it can take months to learn one, but 10 minutes to learn the other.
Interesting as you were saying that about the princess giving a magic rope,
What do you got, big man?
whether that was Rapunzel, letting her hair down.
Oh, no, well,
Maybe, who knows?
I learned the next book story had 3 magical items in, but that's not been published yet, so I won't talk about that yet. I don't want to spoil it for the listeners, do we?
No, I'm just fascinated watching you doing your leg bindings.
Yeah.
Do you know, viewers, I have been doing reenactments since 1990, and it wasn't till last week, till Bragi showed me, that I've been putting my putties on wrong.
Yeah, well, leg bindings.
Yeah, leg bindings, yeah, putties, because that's Indian. But,
Oh yeah, you're just more used to the modern wars, aren't you?
oh yeah, but it just goes to show, you always got something to learn.
Well, that's the thing about folk tales as well, because it's a constant learning journey. And one thing I do urge you is to try to retain your folk tales, because not only
It's a national identity.
Well, yeah, but there's certainly people willing to hire people to tell folk tales because people make a living out of telling stories.
Yeah, well, my ex, she was a storyteller.
So I've been doing that. So I filmed those 2 videos.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's alright. Talking. No,
And
so what's the next thing? The mystery item?
no, well, I don't have a mystery item yet. Well, I'll read about it as we go along. Then I know what we're going to do, what we're not going to do.
Good idea.
And I've been reading a few more folk tales. Another thing I started doing is I'm learning the Volsung saga,
Wow.
which I'm about to start recording. What I'm actually doing is that I'm actually recording the audio first for myself to listen to on my mobile.
I was thinking about doing that on my dictaphone.
So I could do that if I could find some folk tales for you. Because you got one of your phones which is compatible to an MP3 player, isn't it? I think. Or either that, I got an MP3 player I could lend you.
You know more about that than I do.
I could record some folk tales on voice so you can listen to them to learn them and do it that way.
Yeah.
I could even do that with the Eggle Saga for you.
Yeah, that would be a nice one to do, is Eggle Saga in bits.
The problem with a lot of these sagas is how you pronounce the names. Like in the Volsung saga, am I pronouncing Siggy right?
Sigurd.
Well, no, Siggy is the first character, and the first Sigurd doesn't come into it until later on.
Yeah,
First of all, it's Siggy. Then he was alleged to be one of Odin's sons, and then next came along a man called Skadi, Skadi,
Yeah.
and he was a powerful man, ambitious man,
Yeah.
and he had a thrall called Greedy, and of course we know the story of how our hero in this chapter, Siggy, goes out with the thrall hunting, and the thrall turns out to be kind of better at him at hunting, and well, Siggy's embarrassed. Siggy is a man of well known, so he kills him, but doesn't declare it, which is what he should have done, and buries him under a snowdrift. And then of course he goes back, and somehow Skadi must find out about the servant, the thrall, going missing, and therefore decide to go and look for it because it doesn't believe the story that Siggy told him. So he sends out a party, and in the end they find him buried in a snowdrift, which apparently today is often still called Breedy's Drift if you've got a massive snowdrift.
Yeah.
And then they try to chase him down, but Odin, the Allfather, comes and finds Siggy and leads him through the land until this small fjord where there's a ferry of boats, long boats with warriors, which the Allfather gratefully gave him so that he could go and find a kingdom, and he did this. But sometimes the pronunciation of the names, so are you pronouncing Skadi right? Are you pronouncing Breedy right? A good example before you start is Eggle.
Yeah.
We had a comment this week on the video from Neil of Eggle meets Lejot, basically saying that we're pronouncing Eggle Skallagrimson wrong.
When I was sounds a name drop. When I was at university, I've had the name Hegel for a long time, and this last translated Icelandic. I think she does it for a living now. But anyway, she used to call Egil Aegle.
Aegle.
And that is the Icelandic version.
Yes.
So I think it depends whereabouts in the country you are.
Well, it's not what country you come from, basically.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak then. If from what country you come from, really, it's pronounced differently. If you're Norwegian, you're going to be pronouncing Egil differently to what a Icelandic person or Swedish.
Well, it's like today, if you're in the Midlands, you talk about Bath. If you're down south, it's Bath.
Bath time, not bath time.
Well, it depends where you are, you see. I mean, I was actually brought up to say Bath.
Yeah, well, you're posh, I'm not.
Which is why my accent goes up and down, because I lived in Derbyshire since 1960, but had very strong parents who were into the southern accents. Which is strange, because if you speak to, say, my sister or my brother, they have a very strong southern accent.
Yes.
their vowel sounds are different down south as they are up here.
Well, accents are very interesting.
It doesn't matter how you pronounce it, or it's just that it shows you come from a different part of the country.
So if you was a Saxon from Northumbria, or you was a Saxon from Mercia, would you have a different dialect?
Yeah, the interesting thing with the runes, we talk about the fourth arc, when you're talking about the Norse. If you go to Northumbrian or Anglo-Saxon, it's fourth arc, and that's dialectical difference. It's a lot longer as well. It's 33 characters as opposed to the 24. So again, dialect comes into it. And you said something there about, because you're part. No, it's just that I come from a different part of the country. It's difficult sometimes. My accent and vowel sounds change, especially when I've had a few. I sound like Prince Charles when I'm drunk. But there you go.
Alright, well, unfortunately we're a family-friendly channel. We could get you drunken channel or different accents, but that's another subject.
Yeah,
Perhaps another channel.
Another name.
Yes. So, video ideas. So I've been working on a new strategy of creating content. A lot of our content so far we've got on the board, and we do have a lot in the process of being made or going to be made. A lot of these ideas come from either ourselves, don't they?
Yeah.
Or they come from our fantastic viewers, as yourself. And we do love your ideas, and we always do urge you to leave your ideas for content in a comment. But one of the ways and things I've been thinking about recently is trying to make some content based more around keyword phrases. So for instance, if you type in Anglo-Saxon weapons, we're going to do a video basically called Anglo-Saxon weapon to suit that search. So we're going to be doing a bit of content like that, and the lot further content I got in mind for Eggle will both be in the videos, will be about Anglo-Saxons. So if you're an Anglo-Saxon file and you love the Anglo-Saxons, so this content is going to be for you. And I may also not publish it on a Saturday. I may publish this on a Wednesday. Please, Odin, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think about that? So,
yeah, it sounds like a good idea. And are you going to tell them about the riddle?
we are going to be doing riddles. That's later down the list.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. If we keep to the order, we don't get backtracking and going forward.
I have to point out to the viewers, I normally wear glasses, and the signboard is a little difficult to make out. So that's why Braggy brings me back on the subject. So
it makes you wonder why you're talking about glasses. How would they cope if they had
lots of things?
Oh, well, I guess so. Yes.
Yeah.
But it does make you think.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things we don't talk about. We don't talk about eyesight. If you got bad eyesight, or long-sighted or short-sighted, that would affect your work.
If you were born short-sighted, I don't think you'd know that.
No.
Like, leaves of that shape, you just see them as a green blob. I know my late father didn't realise he needed glasses until he was 10. Certain things you could see. I mean, I can read some of the signs on there. And that's why when I read comments out on the paper, I hold it like that.
Well, I don't mind reading the comments if you want to just answer them.
But as in the past, I mean, I think the earliest spectacles were about 12th century. What you did before then, well, it's a bit difficult. I mean, it's like people who had cataracts. You effectively went blind, the callus forms over the eye, and this eye I've actually got a plastic lens in. I'm falling to bits, viewers.
So you've got, as long as you're not a leper, you're all right.
Well, it's funny you should say that. But I think basically you just went blind.
Oh, it's for the leper.
Legs even. But I think, it was
he's on to see it.
It was just accepted that as you got older, your eyes went. Because Egil Skalla Grimson, he was blind for the last 10 years of his life.
Yes, I do believe that. I've forgotten about that. It's been a very long time since I read that saga.
Well, he's actually, we know, is related to Snorri Sturluson.
I've heard that too, yes.
And he had an illness, because he's always supposed to be shaking his head, and I've forgotten the name of the condition he got, but somebody found his skull and whacked it with an axe, and instead of shattering it just went white. But yeah, apparently he was always doing that. Whether that's true or not, we don't know.
Well, at least you won't be short of walking sticks if you're blind in those days.
Oh yes, yeah.
Lots of wood about.
There's a trade for you there.
Another thing I was thinking about, we don't really talk about, I think about, is toilets in the Dark Ages.
Ah, fascinating subject. Have we got an hour?
Well, maybe not an hour, but you've got 5 minutes, and we'll also promise to do this on another video.
The lavatories, if you go to Jorvik Centre in York, they have a reconstruction of a lavatory. And
Yeah.
everybody goes, poo-wee. Well, I was fortunate enough to have Dr. Jones as my tutor,
Is that Bones Jones?
Bowen Jones, and it's the best 2 hours I've had for a long, long time. And if you ever see his lecture, go to it. But when you dig up what we call coprolitic material, it's like concrete, it's mineralised.
Ah.
What you do is you put it in a bottle with some acid, screw the top on, give it a shake, leave it, undo it, and then you smell it.
Lovely.
If the smell is wow, it's human.
Yeah, right.
What you do then, you filter out what...
Is that a good wow or bad wow?
No, it's a, oh my god, wow. You filter it, and then the bits you put under a microscope, and from that you can find out what parasites they had, what type of cereals they had, and all kinds of stuff like that. It's amazing what you can find out through science and that. But Bowen Jones has the famous Lloyd's Bank coprolite mounted on a bit of mahogany,
Oh.
and strange enough, Lloyd's Bank didn't want it.
Oh.
It was called that because it was found underneath the safe. It's now insured for £100,000.
Really? Is that the most expensive piece of scat
Yeah,
found in
well,
archaeology terms?
if not, it's pretty much. I have handled the aforementioned article.
Yeah, but so imagine you were living in, let's say, Westow. Where would you have gone to the toilet?
You would have had a pit just a bit away from your hut, and a plank with a hole in it, and around that you'd have a wicker fence
Right.
about that high, and you'd use sphagnum moss as paper. And one of the Viking finds that we found in Jorvik was we found sphagnum moss with coprolitic material on it and stinging nettles hidden in it. So
Oh.
somebody had put stinging nettles in it
Yeah.
as a joke.
So they had a sense of humour in those days.
Oh yes, I don't think I'd like to have been the recipient
And
of
would they
that.
have the concept of a ladies and gentlemen, or would they have been just both universal?
They were
Were they not so prudish and such
no,
things?
they were a bit more basic. Where you live in right cheek by jowl with the earth. It's different now. I mean, we still suffer from the sort of Victorian morality.
Well, of course we do, yes.
I mean, it's like we were discussing earlier about the Sagas, but that's another topic. But there was a theory when I was at York that maybe these longhouses, you had the women's quarters and men's quarters, based on the idea of the South Sea Islands. I don't think that's... I don't know. We don't know. It's mere speculation. But they're a bit more... I was going to say hands-on, and that's perhaps not the best phrase, but they were less prudish or sensitive about things like that. If you got to go, you got to go.
Well, you got to go. And I think that will make a very good video on its own.
Yeah.
Well, as long as we don't have a rubbish title.
Mm.
We've got to think of a good title for that. A suitable title.
Yeah.
So that's an extra little subject for you there I was thinking about, and there you go.
Yeah.
I was once in a unit, or working with a Confederate unit. It was very, very authentic. In fact, they were so authentic, you couldn't have long hair to get in, and I was refused.
Oh.
And they didn't have tents, they just sleep in hedges.
Mm.
And they got told off because they was crapping in front of the public.
Oh, right. Well, I thought Confederates would have had hair like this.
No, because of the lice issue.
Oh,
If you had a bit of money, you could afford the powder,
Yeah.
and generally you would have had your hair short. Oh, it would have varied, yeah, granted. You would have seen people with longer hair.
Oh well, I learned something new today.
So we were talking about the mystery item. We don't have one this week because I still have not found the mystery quiz item. So I will keep searching for it. And when I do find it, I'm going to put it in my bucket the Braggy's Bucket, and that feature will be coming back next week, folks. So there's an exclusive. I think if we do it fortnightly, I'll get it down as fortnightly now.
Yeah.
What's in Braggy's Bucket? I'm also thinking about making like a 1 second or 2 second cut-off scene of the bucket with some kind of introduction to it. What's in Braggy's Bucket?
Bom, bom, bom.
So I might do that at some point.
Folks, it's there for you.
You could do I am your father with that.
I am your father, Luke.
No.
Where's my pocket, honey?
That sounds nothing. That's probably the worst impression ever. I am your father. That's probably even worse. So I can't do impressions. Anyway, get away from that very quickly. We're going to talk about a new thing. We're going to talk about is folklore of the week. We was going to talk about last week boggarts. So we're going to talk about boggarts this week, and the reason why is because you'll be seeing a video tomorrow on Monday of the folklore of I'm going to say hobbits of boggarts.
Yeah.
And this is a new series I'm going to do, and perhaps if Ego wants to do some of the series as well, that's great.
How about we do fairy folk?
We could do some together.
Well, I've got an idea later on which I'll explain to you.
So let's talk about boggarts, sometimes known as the bug or
well,
the bogeymen.
I was doing some research on this because we did the farm in the boggart,
Yes.
and it's the flip side of a spirit called the brownie, not the thing you eat. The brownie is like a house spirit, and if you've got things that need doing when you're asleep, out comes the brownie, does that, and you had to leave honey and milk out for them. If you didn't, they got a bit miffed and they became boggarts. Instead of helping you, they would hinder you. They'd like trip you up in the house, or things would get broken, generally annoy you, and that became a boggart.
Yeah, well that comes from the Roman period, when the Romans talked about a creature, I can't remember the first Latin term, but the second bit's loci. It's like a friendly house spirit that brings you good luck, but these spirits can turn nasty, and of course they've got different names with different cultures. In Northumbria they're called silkies, for instance.
Yeah.
They often thought in Northumbria to be a good luck spirit, to bring you good luck. Boggarts are known to live in areas like marshes and woods. Like they've got one here now with us. Boggarts are known to live in holes in the ground, in old buildings. They're very interesting. It's more of a later medieval term. If he was in the Dark Ages, you wouldn't really call a spirit a boggart, because a boggart wasn't really a term used. It would have been probably classed as an elf.
Yeah.
And then that term of the elf became the boggart. Of course, we are familiar today with a boggart from Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, I don't watch Harry Potter.
You've not seen Harry Potter, but I think most of the audience will be familiar with Harry Potter. And that's the elf which was the slave of that evil dude with the white hair, which I can't remember the name because I've not seen it for a long time. So we are familiar today, and that's very interesting how we're familiar today with boggarts.
Yeah. Well, as I say, I mean, I haven't watched Harry Potter, but again, it incorporates bits of folklore. Then that's a good thing, because we need to remember these things.
Well, it is a fantastic thing, and telling these oral stories and passing it down is awesome. It's also quite an interesting fact that a lot of these oral stories, especially the sagas, were not written down, but yet we've still got them because of the oral tradition.
Well, one of the reasons my favourite band is Jethro Tull is that they bring things like that into their songs. Jack in the Green.
Yeah, I always think of the comedian.
Yeah. Or the inventor of the seed drug. But no, Ian Anderson's Jethro Tull. But their songs bring in elements of English folklore, things like the Green Man and other things like that. So again, it's another medium for us to remember that.
Yeah, so it's a new series we're going to do. We won't have a video every week out on a subject on folklore, but maybe one or two a month.
Teaser.
You know, they all take a little bit of time to research.
Yeah.
Because you know, when we told these videos, we want to try to give you the best information we can, though we are going to make mistakes.
Yeah,
We're human.
Yeah. But if they point it out, at least it shows people watching.
Yeah, so
But
we have another tale to tell of a boggart called the Boggart of Bristlehurst. Whether you want to tell that one or I can tell that one. That's I think it's a Northumbria tale.
Oh, I'll have a look at it and then we'll have a discussion.
Yeah.
But,
So that's a little bit about boggarts.
yeah.
Very interesting. The hairy creature, small. It reminds me of a bad hobbit.
Yeah, well, I mean, perhaps that's what hobbits are based on.
Now, a new feature we're going to do soon in the vlogs. This is a feature I thought of for Eggle. It's just this week in history, and it's just talking about what events are going to happen in the next week. So it's imagine that next week we've got the celebration of some big battle, then we could talk about that and make a video on it. So it's something we're going to look at in the future, because so far, you know, we miss events. We do miss events.
Yeah.
We miss saints' birthdays. You know, no doubt Saint Cuthbert's birthday being on, and we're going to talk about him in the video.
Yeah.
So this is not only an idea for the vlog, which you can research at home, and
maybe the
give
viewers
you-
can give
yeah,
us a few tips.
if you know something's going to happen next week in history, and we can do a video on it. Now it's sometimes very hard if Eggle's not there to do a video. I'll have to do one. So if we can plan ahead and get, we know that in 2 weeks this event's happening, then we can make that content. So that's a new feature we're going to try to start working on. So riddles, now another section here for Eggle.
Well, riddles, great. What we will be doing is every so often, I can't put it, is it every week or?
No, it'll be every couple of weeks. I
Every
think.
couple of weeks, what we'll do, we'll read a riddle out. Maybe-
Onion.
Yeah. That one is probably not going to work, is it? But it's a series of riddles from Exeter, my old hometown. My ancestors, that is. And what we'll do, we'll say the riddle, and you tell us what you think the answer is, and then we will give you the answer from the book.
Yeah.
So,
What, the following week?
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds a good idea.
The thing is, we may have to censor them a little bit because we look on this as a family channel, and as we said earlier, some of them are a little bit racy.
Yeah,
But-
well, we won't break any policies of YouTube. So,
Well, also we don't want to lose anybody, do we?
well, no, we are a family-friendly content channel. We're never going to swear on this channel. You're never going to see us. Well, we might do some combat, but you know, we're going to keep within the means of YouTube.
The
and-
bounds of decency.
Yeah,
But yeah, the Exeter Riddle book, and that's what we'll go from, and it'll be interesting to see what people think. I read one before we started shooting, and I got it completely wrong.
yeah, yeah. I think riddles are always very interesting. So you know, and perhaps we could even invent some riddles.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, another thing we're going to do in another week, probably next week, we're going to do our poll, and this poll is going to be which hats suit Eggle best. And the idea, we're going to get a few hats. Let's say we'll get, I don't know, 6 hats,
Yeah.
and we're going to try 6 hats, and we're going to give you a choice of the 6 hats.
Is it marks out of 10 or?
No, it'll just be a poll. You get a choice of 6 answers, or 7, or none of them,
Oh.
perhaps. So if you'd like to see that next week, it's just an idea I thought about, because I like these polls at the end of the video, in a card, which we'll see what they're at the end of the video next week if we do it. And it's also vlog episode 12, a special number.
Yeah, I mean, I do look rather fetching in a fedora, but they didn't have them. Okay, what's on the next list?
Well, we can talk about. Well, let's talk about chainmail, or mail as we call it.
Mail. It's a marvellous invention, really, because
We'll check the camera. You talk.
Okay. It's a marvellous invention. It's lighter than plate armour, and it actually does clean itself a lot of the time. The earliest known mail, as far as I know, is the Celtic period, Iron Age. It was horrendously expensive. I mean, the Roman auxiliaries wore it, and in our period, the Saxon/Viking period, everything had a price. You've heard that. Well, a sword would be like the cost of a top-of-the-range Ferrari. Ouch.
Right.
But the mail, its shirt itself, would be worth a whole village and everyone in it and all their possessions. So the king would probably have one, and his huskarls or house servants, they may have some mail. It wasn't as widely thought of as people think. And it's, well, this is the guy to ask about how it's made, and it's a pretty labour-intensive thing, isn't it?
Well, it definitely is a labour-intensive thing, especially if you're thinking, if you're making a set of mail which is 8mm in diameter, you're going to need somewhere between 25 and 30,000 links. Now the first thing you're going to do is you're going to have to acquire the metal. Now, if you're kind of in an ingot, you're going to have to flatten that down into sheet. So, you know, there'd be more than one smith working on this. Any land, you know, any earl or anybody who's got a bit of wealth will have some people working. So they'll make the sheet and they'll cut it into little fine strips, so they could draw it and make it into wire. So it'd be like a little square section, and they'll get some tin snips. They'll have to make them, of course. Yeah. Everything has to be made in those days, unless you got the silver, the coin to buy it. And then you cut it into long strips, and you have many of these, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands. Then you have to draw it for a little hole which is tapered, so that you can round it off. And that's only the first stage. Then the second stage would be getting a mandrel, wrapping the wire round.
Steel rod.
Yeah, so that may be done by a child. It may not be an adult doing that, because an adult has more skills. They will be doing a more complicated job. Even your wife might be doing it, your wife. And after that you've got to separate the wire, so you may have some snips to do it, or you may be cold chiseling. Then after that you're going to want to get half of those links. If you want to make the job easier, you're going to want to fire weld half the links together to make solid links. That's a very complicated process. Now you can butt the links together, where you fire the ends and they meet kind of like this flat. But the problem with butt mail is that you're always constantly repairing it if it's not of a good wire, because the wire will stretch in time.
It's like some of the early shirts we had in reenactment. You slide them on, you end up with lots of little cuts because they're not perfectly buttered.
No. And so the idea with having soldered links is that you'd have a row of soldered links, and then your next row would be buttered links, which you'll then go around individually when the mail's made and rivet. So you got fundamentally 12,000 links to rivet, flatten, to rivet, to make a hole, and that's a very labour-intensive job.
Of course, the bigger you are, the more links.
Well, of course so. And then of course you also got the gambeson. Someone's got to make a gambeson to go underneath it. You got the leather jerkin possibly, if you got the money for that. So it's just not about the mail, because you wouldn't put mail on top of a tunic like this, because it'll end up all black with oil.
And also, when you hit mail, the links may not go into your skin.
This is why you have a nice thick gambeson and a nice leather jerkin to stop that from happening. So it's a very labour intensive job. And if you imagine you lived in the village of Northworthy, now most people would not be well off.
No.
They wouldn't have a lot of coin. They may have some metal, they'll have some knives, an axe, your everyday tools. They may have a langsax. Somebody may be looking at a sword that's been passed down. But if you can imagine these men and warriors on horseback coming in, and they each got a sword and a spear and a shield, and there's 5 of them and every one of them's wearing mail, you'd be astonished. Look at all that metal, because metal would have been scarce.
I think it's in Egil's saga, there's a gang of people marauding around the countryside, and they're armed. One's got a spear head, and the other I think's got a knife, and the other's got an axe, which gives you an idea.
Yeah.
You know, it's the spirit behind it, I think, rather than the weapons they have.
I mean, often, I've probably got too many weapons on often. It's a modern reenactorism, you know, because you'd be lucky to have a sword and a knife, let alone an axe.
Oh yeah.
So
I think more likely most people would have an axe of some description. Wouldn't be a fine battle axe, but it's what you could pick off the farm if you're called up.
well, yeah.
But, yeah.
So that's that. So I hope you enjoyed that little chat there. And we're going to talk about, oh, we have a shout out for another channel we must do. And this channel is a channel called Brand Holt. Now, I'm not showing you his channel.
No, he hasn't.
He only has, I think last time I looked, he had 18 subscribers.
Keep in there, mate.
And he's basically doing time stop motion with Playmobil and telling the story of the Sagas.
It's got to be good.
And so I think anybody who goes out and tells the Sagas in the first place is awesome. But to do it in a method which will take a lot of editing.
Yeah.
Because what we do is it's time consuming.
Well, it's for you.
Which for me it's time consuming, but it's not so time consuming as having to do time stop motion. So we just want to give him a shout out. I'll show you some of his content
Sure,
later on.
I'd like to see it.
He doesn't have many videos, he doesn't have many subs, but he is committed to making content. So
It's good.
and he's been leaving us a few comments, so he likes what we're doing. So
Well, thanks for
hello Brand.
that. Okay, Brand, you keep at it, mate.
I'll leave a link in the description, and also I'll pin a comment in the video to his channel. So I do urge our fantastic subs, my fans, to go and subscribe to this channel.
Yeah.
So there's that. And we've got a few more celebrations whilst I think about it. We recently had our first 1,000th like, and so 1,000 likes were just done. So I think that's a big achievement.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
We've just gone over 28,000k watch time in total,
Wow.
which is nearly 20 days worth.
Yeah.
And I think in the last 2 months we put on over 10,000 minutes ourselves.
Yeah.
So it shows you that the channel's working.
That's good.
We've also just done our 700 tweet on Twitter.
Ah,
So
that's good.
that's another achievement. We currently have 118 videos published.
Wow.
And I think we have 146 videos in total. So we've got quite a few to be published. So there are a few of the little things I noticed recently in the last few days. We've also had, out of our 1,000 likes, just above, we've got 8 dislikes, but one of them's gone, so we now got 7. So we've got a minus and a dislike, which is awesome.
Yeah, well,
We're about to hit 1,000 comments.
that's nice. More comments, the better.
Now, just to give you an update before we finish this section, and I'll tell you what we're going to do next, is I have recently spoke to an ex-girlfriend of mine about coming on the channel, and well, I did ask her whether she should be a host to tell some folk tales. I didn't get a no, I didn't get a yes either, and I don't know if she watches the content at the moment and whether she took it seriously enough, so I'll have to kind of remind her again when I see her next. So I am still working on that, because I would like to get a female, someone just once in a while to come on the channel, well, whatever commitment they wanted.
Perhaps ought to phrase that differently.
Um,
Anxious to have a female storyteller,
Yes.
not get your hands on a woman.
no, I don't mean that. Don't think the husband would be. Anyway, so I am working on that. So, but it would be great to get a female lady teller. So, oh God, I think it was.
A female lady teller, I love it. What do? I'm a lady teller.
Start again.
3, 2, 1.
I can't resist. I'm grinning too much.
He's anxious to
He
have
took some walk.
a lady to tell tales.
Folk tales.
Folk tales.
A lady folk tale teller.
Yeah.
One day we'll have one on the channel.
I don't know, I rather like a lady teller. That's a lady, that's a lady. Oh, that's not.
So that's the latest update on that. So don't despair, we are working on that. So yes.
Yeah.
Now in the next section of this, we're going to end this section now. For the next section we're going to do something slightly different. We're going to basically do a behind the scenes tour of the garden and
Fun.
pay a few visits to some of the areas you know and talk about them. And then we're going to end the video with a little bit of a combat down the garden.
Sounds fun.
And this time we're going to be talking about the spear, as we've now got a working one-handed spear. So,
You see, most people have ferries at the bottom of the garden. He hasn't, he's got Vikings fighting.
well, yes, what's the best thing to do down the bottom of your garden?
Yeah.
So until we see you in a few minutes, it's wassail,
I say,
and thank you for watching so far.
bye.
Hello, good day and good day. in the Viking tongue. And we're here at Northworthy for the next section of this vlog. And today we're doing something special. We're going to do a behind the scenes tour of some of the locations we film.
Wow.
And at the end we have a bonus fight for you. So keep watching for the combat. So this is one of the locations we filmed recently. It's next to a big old tree.
That's the tree up.
Not Eggle, it's not a tree, he's a human being.
Well, barely.
It's a nice location, but it can be a little bit bright in the daylight.
Yeah.
And what we'll do, we'll walk with the camera and somehow hope this turns out right for you.
Yeah.
Some days filming around here can be a bit windy as well. So, you're going to walk that way.
Okay.
Wait, look, we're not on my command.
Ooh.
So I'm going to lift the camera.
Oh, he's dropped his battery.
Yeah, just wait a minute. Just say hello or something.
Hello or something. How are you today? We're going on a nice little ramble around Sagas estate. And he's better at pointing out natural wildlife than I am. What I thought was a nest turned out to be a clod of earth. So, there you go.
And here you see some modern steps with two statues.
Yeah.
And the infamous pond of Northworthy.
Yeah, full of horrible frogs. I don't like frogs.
Eggle hates frogs.
Flippers get between your teeth.
Just have a look around here. If you stand next to the cross, Eggle.
Here we go.
I'll stand this way then. There we go.
Here we are, the Viking post.
This is another location we're shot in. You have to bear with me because I'm carrying a shield here at the same time. So you ought to go there, Eggle.
Yeah.
And we're going to locate this. I know it's slightly dodgy, this. So this is another location. You may not see it with the sunlight.
This is the tree stump where I put my drinking horn.
It's a very good drinking horn for your
Yeah.
horn.
That's why we had the big storm in '63 to knock trees down. So
It may have been.
yeah, well,
It would have been a grand tree once.
it's a fantastic tree. I don't know what sort it was.
Now this is one of the most common locations you'll see in the garden being filmed in. We often film in this little section here.
Yeah.
There we have a cross. Some people say it's where we bury old hosts, but that is a rumour.
I am not saying the word.
And we often put a little shot a little bit further up. We'll just go behind the camera again.
Just go up the stairs.
You got the steps, Eggle.
Here we have. It's a nice area.
If you turn around and face the camera for them.
It's nice on a hot day. This alleyway is very cool, and if you come with me, I'll take you to the next part.
Alright.
Here we go, along here.
And here you see a Viking's back.
Yeah.
They do have one. There he sees a knife, and he's even got two knife things hanging off his belt.
Shows I'm a commander.
You can just see him there going. Turn around and
The famous bench that Bragg.
we'll have a look at this bench closer up.
Yeah, it's a nice piece of work. I'm just going to step over it.
Step on.
Yeah.
I don't think we can see the bench, you have to take it out in the grass. Now put it out in the grass.
I always have to do the lifting. I noticed. Oh no, man.
Well, I got a camera to carry.
You've got teeth. There you go. Is this better?
There we go. I think they can see it now. This is the infamous bench. It's still a bit daylighty. Smile, Eggle.
It's never happened.
Well, we looked at the house there, we can't see that possibly. We'll put the camera down here.
Put the shield up there because my arm's getting tired. I think that's his ploy for the combat, is to tie my arm out so he can beat 7 bells out of me. It's a beautiful tree you may have seen on other sagas and folk tales. That tree is prominent, and if you'd like to pan round, around this area as well. This place goes on forever.
So I'm trying to balance the camera here.
It's a bit, you're not at sea on a long ship, he's trying to balance your camera. But as you can see, this has been very well tended. Must take hours to get this.
It's not that well tended, I just mow the lawn.
Yeah, well, I mean originally I think your dad put a lot
Well, my
of
dad
work
put a lot of effort into this. Sorry about the dodgy camera work here. There we go. I'm standing in front of the camera again now.
I'll bring Braggy in. Probably,
Ah, I'm here. Have that.
It's a bit of a devil with the spear, but perhaps you'd like to have a few words on this.
Yes, that is a swooping spruce tree. Very rare, actually.
Yeah, nice tree.
It is a very nice tree. We've filmed that for many locations over the years.
It's quite a few, and this is only part of the garden.
We've got more to do yet.
But,
You might not be on camera there, Eggle.
well, you can hear my luxurious voice.
I go back to being the dodgy cameraman.
Well, dodgy rod. Okay, where we're going next?
We're going to go down that direction.
Here we go. Here we go. Again, we've got some more beautiful plants. Those viewers who are into plants and things.
We have a modern shed in the garden, which we try not to get on camera. I think there's one video of Take here where you can see the shed. Who's this here? Oh, it's Eggle.
Yeah, this is the guest house, is it?
Yes, it is the guest house.
Do you want me to come towards you?
Yeah,
Okay, we're down to Frog Pond, so I better get my knife ready.
this is where we filmed recently.
Yeah, just over on the...
So I'm walking backwards here. It's
Yeah,
not-
you're doing a grand job. Okay, and there's the wall where we did our 4th of July.
Oh yeah, there's the wall. You can often see this area in the camera. There's a little bit of a rock garden area.
We usually sit along here.
Egg would have a sit down if he's tired.
Well, Eggle's not at the moment. But
So he's
I think
alright,
I
see?
will be at the end of the combat probably. And this is the infamous Frog Pond.
Frog Pond.
This is where I call Frogland. And nothing.
It's a bit small for a longboat, isn't it?
Yeah, I personally was just. Yeah,
You may not see all this with the brightness today. That's why I can't lean over the pond. There's no me. The battery pack will fall in.
beautiful lilies there.
We put the camera down for a second.
Some beautiful water lilies.
There are some nice water lilies.
And I don't know what the purple plants are, but they look jolly good to me.
I've just got to pick up my glove and I can't be bothered to bend down like normal people.
Oh, I thought you were going to spin something.
I'm sparing a hole in my glove.
Yeah.
Right, we'll carry on. We walk up that
Okay,
way.
we're going up this way.
Yes.
Be sure to catch my grateful derriere. Some more plant life. These are rather nice. I don't
That's
know.
a maple.
Yeah, it's beautiful that.
You might not see it.
It's a green and purple.
There's some little footage of it. That's the neighbour's house. You can see their house, well not mine. Well, my father's anyway.
And we'll go by the modern construction.
Well, we need to go and pick the shields up at some point.
Yeah, well, we'll do that when we bring the tour out, because it's less to carry.
Well, yeah, but we've got to go back down the garden for the fight.
That's alright.
Let's have a stand around this area.
Sorry.
Aye up. Go up.
Blackberry trees, blackberry plants, not fully. They started to bud already.
Yeah, well, I started to tap them with a hacksaw the other day.
No, you want a nice blackberry and apple pie.
If you want to come and pick some blackberries when they're ready.
You've heard it on camera, viewers. I'm down here with a wheelbarrow. It's one of the. As long as you pick them at the right time, blackberries are gorgeous.
There's the blackberry bush
Yeah,
and the blackberry tree.
all around here. I remember when I walked from Derby to Belper with another pal of mine, courtesy of the camera, and we were picking apples and cherries and these sweet little damsons off the trees that were hanging over the.
What's that on the floor there, that black thing?
That black thing, I know, let's just be careful. It's a pigeon's feather.
Oh, right, dead pigeon.
Yeah, it's part of a pigeon's wing. You have foxes around here. It's,
It's very sunny up here.
yeah, it's beautiful. Again, it's just a rose tree, isn't it?
It is a rose bush.
Yeah. Oh yes, see the rose buds.
Yes,
coming up.
unfortunately it would be very sunny here for you, but at least you could hear Eggle when you could see me.
Yeah.
Or actually the opposite way round.
You need some horse muck on that. That'll come out beautiful. Hark at me, Percy Thrower of the Viking age. More brambles over there.
No, it'd be
You actually
standing
grew
front.
maize at one point, didn't you?
No, we never had a maze. The garden was a maze.
Maize. the
No, we
corn.
got maize from bird seed. Hello,
Huh.
it's me, Braggy.
I'll move out of the way so we can get him in.
Got my spear again.
Yeah, why he's carrying a spear around him, but hey, it's his garden, he can do what he likes.
We'll be having a fight later with it.
Yeah, I know, I'm having a fight later.
I'm not going back down the garden for it.
Well, she was only over yonder.
I know. So this is another area. We have filmed along here a few times.
Another dwelling there.
That's a buffet. Not the kind of thing you eat, which will be nice that having a buffet right now.
Yeah, yeah. Or a barbecue.
Perhaps we'll go that direction.
This is the lesser known part of the garden. It carries on up this way. Those two ways meet up. Which way do you want to go then, Bragi?
We can go this way.
This way?
Let me shoot round here and I'll meet you up there.
Okay.
So just don't walk yet, stay there.
Okay.
I'm going to walk round this way. This is a bit more of the garden. You may recognise this tree ahead of you. There is method in this madness.
Oh, we're talking long shots
Here
here.
we go. I can even zoom in for you.
Purple flowers here, are they?
No, I can't show that too, but I've just shown the ass.
Yeah. This is the iris.
Yeah, you walk in, you can't really see much here.
Yeah. Some beautiful trees here. Is this a monkey puzzle?
Yeah, don't go any further.
Is this a monkey puzzle?
It is. No, it's not a monkey puzzle. That is a cotton pine tree.
Beautiful.
It's a very rare tree that it lets a kind of a cottony material out.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I love trees. I really do. When I was a child, I was brought up a very sort of run-down house, and we had our own arboretum and trees. I just like them.
I love trees.
Yeah.
Have you ever hugged a tree?
Yeah, I have, and I'm not ashamed.
You've heard
to
it here
admit
first.
Yeah.
Eggle is a tree hugger.
Well, I haven't done it for
Perhaps you could
years.
demonstrate it on this tree here. For the audience of how you might hug a tree.
What are you going to do? Pretend it's your grandma. There you go. There you go.
Oh, lovely.
Notice there's a space.
May you be happy together.
No, I have hug trees.
Because this is a famous tree, there's been a few folk tales told around here.
Yeah. Realise when we're all famous, you know, we're going to have masses of tourists coming down looking at the trees.
Well, this will probably be built on one day, sadly. So what you could be seeing here is the last people using this garden for anything other than, like, you know.
Yeah. Well, I must admit, it's a rule I don't do. Which rule I do is don't go back to where you were at your youth. I mean, two of the houses I lived in were pulled down, and the hall where I lived, half the land's gone to a farmer. So you get what you call the brideshead, a revisited thing. You think it's like it was when you were a child, but it hasn't. It's moved on. I know what I'm talking about. But that's a very, very nice tree, and like you say, it's
Now,
an interesting garden.
it is. There's one place I've seen, we never filmed yet, which I think could make a nice, interesting place to film. And you would like us to see us film from it, let's have a look. Standing in front of it, you know, just look over these plants.
I'll stand here because
You know, you
get
use
a
that,
nice, get a nice
get
close
that down.
up. Get a nice
I think
close
that'd
up.
be a nice location, that, what do you
Yeah.
reckon?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want my?
No, I'm a man, I've got hands.
Oh, look at her. Right.
We'll go down this way now,
Going
Eggle.
down here. Just follow me. Yeah. I'm with you with the trees. I like trees and they're great.
Of course, we all know of a famous tree, don't we?
Yggdrasil. Yeah. Ooh,
Watch out there, Eggle.
Yeah, I nearly got tripped up. Perhaps a boggart. Here we go. It's another. It's just beautifully and relaxing.
This is where we'll do the combat, and it's quite nice out around here for combat.
Well, also, if you ever want to get away from everybody, you just, you know, you're near enough if needed.
And this is about the bottom of the garden.
Yeah.
If he wants to go a bit further into towards the bottom, we can you go and I'll record you and see how far you get. And then after this, we're going to be doing some combat and talking about spears and shields and axes.
White plant.
Right, let's go through a jungle here.
Oh, it's a sensible.
This is the bottom of the garden. We never really filmed down here yet. It's a bit close to the neighbours.
Got bits of dead pigeon.
I don't want her to think that we're a bit weird.
We get that sinking feeling down here.
I don't think they've seen the sinks. There we go.
There we are.
For sale, £35 each.
There we go. It's a bit squashy down here.
There's a lot of pine needles.
I thought you buried someone here.
Perhaps we remove those pots from the background. We could do a flog from here in between those two trees.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Another nice set of trees. Beautiful.
Nice old conifers. We'll have a look up for you.
Yeah.
We're looking up a tree. Oh look, there's Eggle's head disappearing. Goodbye, Eggle. We're going. We're going, Eggle. We're gone. There we go, looking up a tree. And we'll go back now to Eggle.
Well, I talk to the trees, but of course they don't answer me.
Do you talk to the animals?
No, they run away from me like most people. But, yeah, I talk to my plants. I have a pepper plant called Robert.
Oh.
Robert Plant.
Robert Plant.
He's got a nice capsicum on him. I've only had him for a few months, but south facing window, water every other day.
You also once had a pipe called Steve, but you lost him, didn't you?
Yeah, I think that was in Bolton of all places. But he was a talking pipe.
He was a talking pipe.
I will demonstrate one day the art of pipe talking.
Now, I've asked before we start fighting, if tobacco was around in the Viking Age, would they have smoked?
Now, they went to Vinland and there was tobacco there.
Really?
Whilst they might not have smoked tobacco or hashish or marijuana growing wild, definitely would have had a go at it. In one loaf we found that had got burnt, there were 29 different seeds, along which were marijuana seeds. So
I think that's been mentioned in a comment by Stefan Milo, talking about the use of magic mushrooms.
Yeah, flagaric mushroom they used, which is a natural LSD, which I do not advise anybody to even think of taking, as it's extremely dangerous, as is, you know. But I'm sure they had a go at these things. The mushrooms, not just the flagaric, the magic mushrooms we call them, they were around, and I'm sure they had a good munch on those to escape the realities of life.
Well, would they have known the difference? So that's another subject for another video, and I think we will make a video on that at some point.
Yeah. But what a cracking garden, eh, viewers?
So I hope you like that little behind the scenes tour. We will do some more behind the scenes where you'll see the camera filming us and us actually being recorded. So that will come in the future as well as an idea for the channel. Now we're going to do some combat. So what I'll do, I'll pause this, we're going to get the shield, and then we'll start recording again.
Yeah.
And the next scene you'll see is when
Me
we'll...
flat on my back.
Well, maybe. Legs apart.
Oh, I don't know about that, but certainly perforated by a speardom.
So we'll see you in the next section.
Okay, well.
I've got a more of a natural shaft rather than a straight one.
So put this away till it's needed.
Hello, and we're back for the combat in the episode of the vlog, of the weekly Viking vlog, episode 11. So today we're going to be talking and doing some combat with the spear. There's a new spear I've shafted up, with a new spear shaft and an old spear head, and we're going to do basically the spear versus the axe. And this is a one-handed spear. So Egil, do you want to talk about the spear?
Yeah, the spear or spjot is it's a very underrated weapon. Basically, I'll tell you now, he's won before we start, because look, even if I couch it like that, he's got that reach.
Well, they may not see that reach, but we'll demonstrate it this way.
And this is my reach. So I think we know who's going to win before we even start, but I'm game.
Yeah, well, practice makes perfect this game.
Yeah. The main thing is, if you're fighting a spear, is to get past the pointy piece and then go good one-handed spearman or even two-handed spearman. Use it rather like a billiard cue.
To a degree.
Yeah, but it's a remarkably effective weapon. It's been in use since Neolithic times, right up to the
Well,
early 20th century.
even from the stick that's been burnt and pointed off was the first spear,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah,
And this is a combat spear. Want to talk about the difference between this and a sharp spear?
I know.
Sharp.
Sharp spear. If you notice, there's a bobble on the end. That is to stop it go through my body and coming out the other end. It's actually been hand forged by the looks of it.
It has a hand forged one.
But it's leaf shaped so you can get it in and pull it out.
I just hope it's good.
Let's hope it doesn't go in. But yeah, it's a safety device. The Viking spears would have been very pointed. We do have a winged pointed spear. Safety comes first though. But this is a very effective weapon, and I can tell you now, I know that it was going to come second.
Yeah, well, I hope you're on camera there.
Yeah.
Well, let's go and do some combat then.
Let's
We'll
get-
film this area. I have to start off with the spear and the shield.
Look,
Just try to elevate your voice so they can hear you on camera.
Well, so my screams carry
Yeah.
on. Keep the shield close to you. And I'm going to try and hook. Ah! Straight in the Now, you can see he's holding me off with the spear. Got another G spear there. Just there, hold it. You see, he's got me. I can't reach it, so I've got to get round it. Ah, even then he got me. And that's because I was being slow. That's my excuse. Over to you.
Yeah, we'll continue fighting a bit more. So what I'm trying to do is to find open up the body. I can't quite do that. You got me there.
Oh, I forgot I've got short legs.
I just got him on the shoulder with my
Yeah.
spear there.
It's about 2-1, isn't it? Oh! Did you see that, viewers? Just show the viewers there.
Well, I've got my scram stacks out.
I can't use mine because mine's sharp.
Well, I'm going to demonstrate some Alps here.
Go on then. As you can see, 3-1.
Now, if you're very good at this, what you can actually do is you bounce your spear on your foot. It's got to be the right length.
Yeah.
And then, as you're coming in closer, I can get him in that.
Ah.
Then I can pick my spear up and get it again.
Right.
But it's very difficult to do that in combat.
You try being the other end of it.
So let's try some combat without a shield for you.
All right.
Well, you can have a shield.
All right. Now I've just got to pull my trousers up because they're falling
We'll try to
down.
fight this way, and then you haven't got your back to camera.
Not the only one who could do flash things.
Oh, it's very flash that.
Yeah.
So now I've got no shield at all now. I think it's about a duel there.
Yeah, that's a duel.
No, it didn't. You got me because I got your lower arm.
Okay.
So you won. So when
3-2.
so when you're without a shield, it does become a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
I got your upper leg.
All right.
Your hand's alright.
Yeah, it's just the bracelet big, isn't
Yeah. I'll move
it?
positions
The
again.
price of bling.
Let's try a batter scram for you. There's a problem with a scram. Let me just demonstrate. You're coming in. I can drop that
Yeah.
and very quickly get him, get back to my spear and get back in the line.
By which time I'm out of the equation.
But if you're in a shield wall, the chances are I see him and I would poke him dropping my scram
Yeah.
and get that guy. So
This is
demonstrate.
it. In the shield wall, you work as a pair, aren't you?
You do work in a pair in a shield wall.
He'd be the sticker, and I would be here protecting him.
So what I'll be looking out for is a man anywhere in my eyesight. So bang, there's a dude there, open, got him.
Yeah.
Bang again. And the other guy will be working with the shield to try to get the shield to open up.
Yeah.
So that,
My job is to try and stop that while my sticker, while I've got him like that, sticks him.
now I want to demonstrate how you can hook a spear. If you go over there for me, of how you can use an axe against a shield. So I'm coming in with a shield, a spear,
Spear. Yeah.
and he can get his axe, and then he can hook it on the axe. Now, if I pressure with my axe, try that one. So same again, I'm attacking, and he's really got my spear there, and I can't do anything apart from drop that, and again try to get him before he can.
I'll still come second.
Yeah.
There you go. And once again, viewers, when you're fighting, make sure your trousers are secured, because there's nothing worse than your breeches falling down.
And we don't recommend doing this if you're not trained. We're
Yeah.
both trained, and we both have belonged to various reenactment organisations that have had that training.
Well, we've both been Master at Arms as
Well,
well.
yes, we've both been training officers and Master at Arms in this hobby. So,
It's something that I think we all ought to say. It's a very, you've got to know what you're doing. Don't go at it bareheaded, because, I mean, I should have a helmet
it should really have a helmet.
and I should have gloves.
Or at least a hat.
Well, that protects you. And this is designed simply because, excuse me a minute, it's a pointed hat, so if I come down like that, it slides away naturally. If it was a round helmet, it would probably take, would take.
Now, just step back a little bit. One thing we never do with a spear is you never fight pointed upwards. We always try to make sure that your upper hand is higher, controlling the spear downwards.
Yeah.
Because if I'm pointing upwards, there's his face there. Now I could tell there Egger was nervous.
Yeah.
So in combat he would be very nervous.
Yeah.
So always fight pointing down, trying to attack your opponent.
Try not to hold, when you're fighting with a spear, if you hold it like that, that's dangerous. Hold it
Yeah.
like that, because if you get more, in a real battle, yeah, you would.
Yes.
But this isn't reality.
I was just demonstrating
Yeah.
there. for that
So-
purpose.
You just hold it like that and use it like that.
See, whenever I hold a spear, you can always guarantee I got this in my hand.
Yeah.
Because it's a perfect knife. Although this has recently been banned over the last few years.
Is it?
Yes, you're not allowed to carry a knife in your hand now. This is a shame. You can quickly see I'm straight 2 miles
Yeah.
scram.
Well,
Now, do you want to have a fight with the spear?
well,
before we
also
finish?
another thing you have to do, can you just face the camera? Your target area is from about here to there. That's your target zone. If you hit there, not only will you have a very angry, screaming person, it's also illegal.
Well, there's a very true saying: if you aim small, you miss big. But if you aim big, you hit big.
Yeah. And,
Although that is a much later term.
but,
It
the
comes
point,
from the movie Patriot.
but the thing is, as I say, you have to bear in mind safety first more than anything else. It's great fun doing it, and as you do it more, the better it gets. So if you're thinking of doing this, go to a reenactment society that has a training scheme. Listen and do what they say. Doesn't matter whether you've got Excalibur by your side. Listen to what you're being told and fight within the rules that they say, and you'll have a great time. I'm not saying you won't have accidents. I mean, I just got bodged there with my bracelet, but that's...
I got a sore finger from last week.
Yeah, and there's a knuckle from the shield. That's why I picked that shield, because it's better. But you're going to get knocks like anything else. If you play football, you're going to get kicked accidentally. Just bear it in mind and stick to the rules, and you're going to have a great time. Now, back to the spear.
Did you end up you fighting with the spear and I'll use the axe or something?
Go on then.
And then we're going to end this vlog.
I'm going to fight without a shield. So that's, normally you wouldn't do this, but this is so you can see the spear. Ah! And it's got my finger. Yeah. But again, I kept the spear point down. It doesn't matter. You're not going to die for real. It looks good. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you scared me. That's about 5-1. Half a pint of blood. But again, you keep it down. It doesn't matter. I'm not really dead. Yeah? There you go.
You ran around too much there.
Got to give him 1 or 2 just to boost his confidence. I cheated there, if you noticed. Ah! See, what this demonstrates more than anything, teamwork. when the shield wall breaks, your spearmen go down like 9 pins. But when you're in the line, the spearman protects the shield man and the shield man protects the spearman. And that's what it's all about, teamwork. So anyway,
Let's go a bit further.
I don't know if I've got anything else, but just to say thanks for watching. It's been great fun and I hope you enjoy it. And if even one of you is tempted to have a go at this, just remember, go to a proper reenactment society and you'll have a good time.
We will do. It's a great hobby.
That's how we met.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we've not looked back since, have we?
Yeah.
So, I'd just like to thank you very much. Trying to get my helmet off.
Let me hold your spear for you, there you go.
It's a bit hot under there, you know. So thank you very much for watching. I've probably got a bad hairdo now. Viking hairdo. Anyway, so thank you very much for watching, as I said earlier. Totally awesome you got this far in the video. And if you had any ideas or suggestions or comments for next week's vlog, then please leave them in the comments section and I will reply. And from me, Braggy, it's a goodbye.
And it's a goodbye from Egil. Take care.
Razhail.